NFL players have some of the weirdest pregame rituals I've ever seen. From having conversations with things that aren't even alive,
I used to talk to my sock. You like the right foot? Okay, let me see.
to wearing something that stinks every single day.
I wash them every once in a while.
These are the weirdest pregame rituals in NFL history. And first, a player's pregame ritual had him thinking he was a superhero. Yeah, this is Brian Dawkins, a man who was literally nicknamed Weapon X, the codename of famous Marvel character Wolverine. But what had people comparing Brian to him wasn't just his aggressiveness on the field. Brian was such a super fan of the hero, he'd come out every single game acting like an animal.
I've always liked the X-Men, and then when I caught the Wolverine and how he is and the fact that he's intense all the time, something that invited me into that world.
And not only was that weird, his pregame ritual got even weirder in the locker room, so it started getting him investigated.
We're here, Brian's Dawkins locker, Weapon X. Gonna do a little bit of looking at his pregame ritual and a little bit more behind the mask.
To enter that world and become the Wolverine, Dawkins performs a series of pre-game rituals.
Now that's one of the nerdiest things I've ever seen. But some of the dirtiest things I've ever heard of is Patrick Mahomes' pregame ritual. Cause what he does isn't only weird, it has him smelling like ass. You can thank his wife Brittany in a special gift for that. Nobody really knew about Mahomes' secret until his teammate briefly mentioned it.
Superstitions Patrick Mahomes has before games. Take a listen.
The same pair of underwear, which probably not a lot of people know, on game day. He's been wearing it since I've been a part of it.
And when I heard that, Mahomes had me and the entire world wondering a lot of things, like what kind of underwear even were they? These?
Chiefs man thong coming through.
But as Mahomes just kept dominating the league, some NFL legends had to get to the bottom of his secret ritual.
Patrick, we saw your old teammate said you have a few superstitions and that one of them has been wearing the same pair of red underwear on game day for years now. And I love a good superstition, but could you just do something like eating the same pregame meal? Did it have to be the red underwear?
Well, first my wife Brittany got them for me, so I'm not throwing y'all down, but I have to wear them. At the same time, I threw them on that first season. We had a pretty good season that season. I only wear them for game day though, so they're not too worn down. They're not like these like nasty.
Wash them?
I do. I wash them every once in a while at least.
Is it a thong? Is it a D-string? What is it?
I mean, if we're on a hot streak, I can't wash them. Like I gotta just keep it rolling. So as long as I'm winning football games, I'll keep the superstition going.
No doubt.
Damn, so I guess me and Mahomes are the same? I wear my subscribe to FieldFlix underwear every day. Well, the difference is I'm still ass at football, and Mahomes is out there smelling like ass on a weekly basis. Now, all right. Enough about rituals involving what's inside another man's pants. Another player's weird ritual involves someone purposely injuring him. I never thought a 6'7", 350-pound machine would ever let anybody touch him and get away with it.
This is the biggest man you ever saw in your life.
But for John Henderson, he needed to get hyped up before games. So he would force people to bully him in the locker room. Slap, after slap, after slap. This man was always getting his cheeks clapped, and sometimes only once wasn't enough.
Joe, that ain't good enough. Come on, Joe! Thank you, baby!
Okay, both that dude and his ritual are insane, but none of us can really judge though. Dude went on to become a legend because of that. But speaking of legends, Tom Brady's secret ritual got him cursed by a witch.
She said, "You're lucky you married a witch."
Now, I know that sounds like cap, because when Brady said that, most people took it as a joke. But his ex-wife, Giselle, wasn't who everybody thought she was. Brady admitted that she would do things to him before games that would make him a better player than everyone. But she also warned him that if he didn't follow her exact instructions, he'd fail miserably.
So she put together a little altar for me that I could bring with pictures of my kids, and I have these little special stones and healing stones and protection stones, and she has me wear a necklace and take these drops she makes, and I say all these mantras.
Now, okay, all right. I know all that sounds crazy, but then I actually found out that Brady drinks weird colored drinks. I also saw some old footage of his locker where he had every piece of the ritual that he mentioned. Pictures of his kids, a special necklace with healing stones that brought him strength, little note cards with written rituals that he'd say out loud, and even a statue of a Hindu god. What's scary though is that some people believe the God he was worshiping was actually a bad thing, and they believe prayers to it bring spiritual darkness or demonic activity. But Brady eventually believed that following his wife's rituals were the right move.
And at first I was like, this is kind of crazy. And then about 4 years ago, we were playing the Seahawks and she said, you better listen to me, this is your year, but this is all the things you're gonna have to do to win. And I did all those things and by God, you know, it worked. It was pretty good. And then in 2015, it was about early January and she said, you know how much I love you? And I said, yeah. And she said, I just wanna let you know this is not gonna be your year. And of course we lost. I said, what does 16 look like? And she said, 16 is gonna be your year. So it was early January this year and I said, babe, do we have a chance? And she said, yeah, but you're gonna have to do a lot of work and you're really gonna have to listen to me. So man, I listened to her. And right after the game, she said, see, I did a lot of work. You do your work, I do mine. She said, you're lucky you married a witch. I'm just a good witch.
Now you know why Brady became the GOAT. But the weird pregame ritual Josh Allen does with his throw should have this man being rushed to the hospital. Josh noticed something weird about himself in college. While playing football for their team, he should have visited the doctor, because this man was sick every single time he stepped on the field. And I promise it wasn't all the drinking he was doing as a frat boy. But since Josh was becoming a star player anyways, he just decided to purposely keep getting himself sick before games. And eventually, that actually helped him get drafted to the NFL, where he kept his weird tradition going.
Throughout the game, I would gag, I would dry heave, and I would throw a ball on my thumb. There was just some weird things that would happen with my body that I just didn't feel right. Going to my rookie year, I was just you know what, I'm just gonna try it. I threw up. In that game, I was just I didn't have any of those symptoms. It was just the weirdest thing. So I was you know what, I'm just gonna have to start doing this from now on. And I've got some guys that usually throw up in the room with me. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not.
Everybody's just
exactly, yeah. It's 21 Jump Street, right? Where they're
everybody going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something that I do. I try to convince myself that's something primal, hungry warrior's gonna fight harder. Yeah. So it's my body telling me all right, get this up so you can go out there and fight harder. So that's the way I try to phrase it in my mind, whether that's true or false, who the hell knows, but that's what I do.
Now, even though I think that's gross, I can't argue with the results. Throwing up helped this man throw more touchdowns than ever. So even other NFL legends were curious if this was true.
Can you throw up right now? That would be great for ratings.
No.
I probably could.
No.
If I start thinking about it, I get a little queasy, so
seriously, after you throw up, do you eat again?
No, I don't eat game days.
You don't eat,
If we play in
period?
the mornings, I don't eat. If we play at night, I'll eat a little breakfast.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait a second. A 7 p.m. game, you're eating a little breakfast.
A light breakfast.
And then throwing it up, and then that's it.
Throw up, then take my little red pre-workout drink before the games. Ready to go.
But alright, as much as Brady and them were grossed out, that still wasn't as weird as this next player's pregame ritual that involved a deadly sea monster. Now, alright, when I first heard that, it was honestly the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But what Greg Hardy did during games is actually that weird. It's been known that he forces himself to change into what he calls his alter ego. And which one was that exactly? Well, it just so happened to be a giant mythological octopus called the Kraken, who was known for roaming the seas and destroying every single thing in its path. Which is kind of what Greg wanted to do on the football field. So he not only said, on Wednesday or Thursday, I go down in my subconscious, I find him, and I unlock the cage. About Saturday, he usually comes out. Then he's always out on Sunday. I don't control him then. What he does when I'm not there, I don't know. Now, alright, we're getting crazy here, I know. But Greg, or Kraken, whatever you want to call him, definitely wasn't lying. When game day came, not only could he destroy breakfast.
You ever remember dominating like that in a game?
And I dominated breakfast when I woke up, so I don't know what you're talking about. I dominate everything I do. It's a silly question.
What did you have for breakfast?
Cereal. Killed it. No spoon.
He was a completely different person on the field. He put in red-colored contacts, paint his face black, then put the name Kraken all over his jersey for pregame warm-ups. But that's not even all. Dude even went by the Kraken during player intros.
Kraken. Hogwarts.
Then he damn near really turned into one during games.
Going into my second year, for the fans on the chat lines, was that guy's come off the bench like the Kraken, and one of my friends came on and was like, you know what? Oh, we run with that, man. That's tight. I was like, I do kind of feel like a Kraken sometimes.
Release the Kraken!
And, develop more skills and just the nasty tenacity for the game. I imbibed it and just separated it from, my real life, everyday person. Crack comes out, is whatever happens. You're stuck with it. It's not my fault. If you're in my way, I'm gonna remove you. If you got an attitude, I'm gonna kill it. I feel like I'm gonna stop. When the next level comes, I was already there. I've been this guy for my whole life. It's finally able to come out and just be its own monster. It's my job. People get killed, people get hurt, careers get ended. That's war to me. just get killed or do the killing.
And once the NFL saw how crazy his alter ego made him become, they literally posted his face paint on a board and claimed it was a violation. Now, I don't even blame the league for that. Dude's a freak. But even after all of that, I don't think he's as much of a freak as this next player.
Okay, ready?
Because his pregame ritual involved talking to things that weren't even alive.
What was your pregame ritual?
I used to talk to my socks.
Okay.
Well, you want me to demonstrate? I'll demonstrate exactly how it would go. I would get to the locker room and I would grab my socks and I would look at them and I would go, which one of you should be on the right foot? Huh? You like the right foot? Okay, let me see. And then I would get it halfway on sometimes and go, no, you don't like the right. I'm sorry, you like the left foot. If I didn't put the right sock on the right foot, I would be off balance. And now I see socks with right and left and an R and an L, and I'm like, I was ahead of my time.
Now, okay, talking to things that can't talk back? I kind of feel that. My neighbors probably think I'm just screaming about NFL players at the wall right now.
Who the hell are you talking to? It's 3 a.m.
Anyways, Strahan's ritual is honestly something he could have just kept in the closet. But Marshawn Lynch's pregame ritual was something that could have got him banned from the NFL. He was always hinting at the secret ritual he would do, and it started with him getting a custom fish tank with a Henny bottle inside.
It's 3D or something?
But Marshawn just decided to keep his ritual a secret until his career was over and made a joke about it.
My superstition was that I needed to have maybe a shot and a half before every game.
Of?
Hennessy. What you mean?
I was thinking, Gatorade. Toradol. I don't know what I was thinking.
Hell no.
And there's a bar right there in the locker room in Seattle. Schneider and Pete Carroll.
My backpack.
Got it.
Oh my god, dude really admitted he was drinking on the job. But apparently, doing it gave him superpowers? Or maybe that was just the alcohol talking, I don't know. Regardless though, if the NFL knew what he was doing, the least of the consequences for drinking could have gotten him fined. Like when other players drank during touchdown celebrations and were fined over $13,000 each time. According to the NFL rulebook, the league prohibits any alcoholic beverages on their premises for players. And it's not only on the field. We even heard about players hopping on planes, then privately drinking in the sky, until the NFL found out and they banned the player for a year. Damn, drinking is definitely something the NFL takes seriously. So it makes sense why I ain't in the league. But anyways, not every ritual is fun and games. Sometimes things get pretty emotional. Like another player's pregame ritual was something I thought was weird, until I found out that it only happens because the closest person to him died. The only reason Puka Nacua plays in the NFL, or even has a chance to do a pregame ritual, was all credit to his dad, Lionel. When Puka was only a kid, his dad was so determined to get him to the NFL that instead of letting him watch cartoons like a normal kid, he made Puka watch football film, then would make him do drills and even tackle him saying, "You got 10 seconds to get up." Now, doing little things like that were definitely giving Puka an advantage over other kids. But all of that changed when out of nowhere, while Puka was only 11 years old, his dad was rushed to the hospital. His health was in jeopardy because of a long battle with diabetes, and not long after, he sadly passed away. Puka was devastated, but he knew he had no other choice than to use his dad's death as motivation to not only eventually make the NFL, but create a special pregame ritual. So eventually, once his dream came true and he finally became a professional, the thought of his dad not being there to watch created his pregame ritual, crying.
This was Kua at the anthem, and we talked about feelings that he has for his father whom he lost, and he thinks about him pregame and gets into that state, and just grateful for every single chance that he's out there in a football uniform.
It gets you when you hear him talk about the fact that he's talking to him in those moments as the anthem is playing, telling him, hey, I hope you're proud of me. I hope you're watching me. Just trying to do what you said I would always do.
And it wasn't just a one-time thing either. Puka literally cries before every single game that he plays for his dad. Even recently, after becoming a bigger star than ever, Puka set an NFL record. And even though it wasn't his pregame ritual, he still got emotional, all because he knew his dad would be proud.
I'm going to stay with your heart for a second, because it was your dad that got you into football. He had you break down film and not watch cartoons. You are over 1,000 yards, and you are the fastest Rams rookie in franchise history to do it. I know he speaks to you on the football field. What would he be saying now?
I'm not sure. I would hope the worst. I am proud of you, Puka, would come out of his mouth, and I know they would. Maybe in not a time that I would be able to hear it, but you give me a big hug and just tell me to keep going. One day at a time, the job's not finished.
What a great job today. Congratulations on the win and the performance, Puka.
Thank you very much.
Man, you gotta respect Puka, because everything he's gone through is heartbreaking. And speaking of heartbreaking NFL moments, it turns out a lot of other players have gone through much worse. Like the NFL player whose own fans were trying to assassinate him. An NFL coach's most emotional moment had him tearing up, and it got him clowned by millions of people. This video is not only heartbreaking, it's crazy too. So I'll see you there. Click it.